Welcome into our set here at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse. I'm Cayleigh Griffin, and tonight I am joined and honored to be joined by a very special guest. It is Cavaliers Chairman and owner Dan Gilbert. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time. It's a very special night. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's great to be in Cleveland. It's great to be here with you, Cayleigh.
Oh, Dan, it is always great. Second year in a row that we have you up here on set. We are thrilled about it. And tonight, again, it is a very special night because it is bow tie night presented by the Gilly Project, and we are honoring the life and legacy of your son, Nick. Again, you called him the Cavaliers' good luck charm. That iconic bow tie, we all remember it back in 2011, him wearing it at the NBA draft lottery. You guys got the #1 pick. You got the #1 pick in 3 out of 4 years because of Nick. And sadly, Nick did pass away this past year after a long, courageous battle with neurofibromatosis. So tonight we are honoring his legacy. Dan, what does this night mean to you and your family?
Well, it means everything to my family and my 3 sons and my daughter and my wife and me and his extended family and his friends. They're all here tonight to celebrate bow tie night. And there's a lot of bow ties in this building, so it seems to be working. So
they certainly do. You've got your bow tie on. Yep. I've got my bow tie on. Everyone is rocking the bow ties here tonight. And of course, most importantly, we want to educate those viewers at home about what NF is and what neurofibromatosis is. It's a rare genetic disease that causes tumors to grow on nerves throughout the body. That can lead to blindness, deafness, disfigurement, and even cancer. There are 3 types of NF. Type 1 is the most common, and it is what Nick had, and it occurs in 1 in every 2,500 births. Dan, what makes NF such a challenging disease?
Well, I think NF is a very erratic, strange disease. It really affects every person, every victim differently. That's why it's very hard to treat. So, because, like you just mentioned, tumors can form on any nerves at any time throughout the body. I mean, there's a lot of research that has been done on it, but there's a lot more that needs to be done on it, and we set up a foundation to do that, and they're making progress, but it's a long road on this one. So any support we get from anywhere, we're always very grateful for. But, you know, I just met upstairs, we just entertained local groups, Cleveland and Ohio area families that have been affected by NF, and it's really heartbreaking, some of the stories that you hear. But these are very brave people who keep going, they keep grinding, just like the city does, and we're very proud to be part of it here.
Well,
so
we do want to expand on the foundation that you and your wife Jennifer started back in 2017. That is NF Forward. Nick, of course, spent his life so bravely battling this disease, but he was raising awareness and fighting for families that were also battling NF. NF Forward, a nonprofit with the goal of eradicating neurofibromatosis. You're funding research, you're raising awareness, you have this NF Gala every year in Detroit. How has NF Forward changed lives already, and what more work is being done now?
Well, NF Forward, which is kind of an offshoot of the Gilbert Foundation, they're specializing on really more research on the research side more than anything. The Gilly Foundation, or the Gilly Project rather, that was started by my other kids, my 3 boys and my daughter and a few of their friends, but they're doing different events similar to this one. They want to keep Nick's legacy alive. The reason it's called Gilly's because that's what his friends called him. That was his nickname. We have a sports bar we're actually opening in Detroit called Gilly's. We're going to have to do a second one here in Cleveland at some point.
Absolutely.
But the Gilly Project is going to bring awareness to a whole new generation of people who don't really know much about the disease. I mean, when Nick was born with this, my wife and myself never heard of it. That's usually the story of most parents. Even though it's 1 out of 2,500, though, that's a fairly common neurological disease. That still means millions of people around the world have it.
Yeah.
And so it's a very individualized outcome for most people. Unfortunately, in my son's case, his tumors were on his brain, and he fought them very difficultly for 26 years. But he had some breakthroughs at some point, but we know what happened at the end. And so now we've got to cure this disease and wipe it off the planet in his name, and that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, I do want to talk to you about the spirit of Nick because, like you mentioned, he always seemed to find a bright light in his battle. We've heard the stories, we've seen the videos. He would go through chemotherapy, he would have brain surgery, he would go right back to school. He got his degree at Michigan State, spent time consistently with his family and friends. Where did he find the strength, and how did he provide strength for you and your family?
That's a great question. We really don't know where that light and strength came from, but you described it pretty accurately. He always left the room. The people who were in the room were much happier than when he walked in. He was a funny guy. He was very soft. I mean, he didn't carry his the disease like a burden. He carried it in a way that it taught him how to deal with people. He knew that if he could be fighting this, that there wouldn't be any other big problems for him, which was kind of true. So we're all very proud of him, and I think at halftime you'll see something very special. Hopefully everybody sticks around, because we're going to pay tribute to him and his legacy here. And just seeing people with the bow ties brings a tear to my eye, because if he was here, he'd be so excited and proud, and maybe he's watching from above, but we just got to keep fighting, Cayleigh. That's the main thing.
Absolutely, and we know Nick is here with us in spirit here tonight. Dan, we're going to talk a little bit more about what we're going to see here at halftime and some of the other activations coming up in our next segment. So you mind sticking around for a little bit?
Of course.
Perfect. Hey, more to come here on Cavaliers Live. It is a very special night here in the building. Dan Gilbert is sticking around. You're going to want to as well. Tonight's Bow Tie Night is presented by the Cayleigh Project. The Cayleigh Project was founded by Nick Gilbert's siblings to celebrate Nick's legacy, inspire the next generation of NF fighters, and raise money for NF Forward. Help us eradicate neurofibromatosis with your kind donation to nffwd.org. And what's not to like? We see the bow tie here in full force here tonight. We're rocking them on our broadcast here tonight. We've got some mac and cheese, too. And Dan Gilbert is going to tell us why that is important. Dan, we've got you back here for another segment here on Cavaliers Live, and we have some awesome activations here in the building to celebrate Bow Tie Night presented by the Cayleigh Project. We know we got the mac and cheese, which was Nick's favorite. What more can you tell us about the different activations and what's happening at halftime here tonight?
I didn't catch the second question.
What else is happening here tonight in that halftime and the different activations in this building?
Well, as you know, the most important one's the macaroni and cheese.
Of course.
Did you eat it yet?
I haven't yet, but I've got it here, and I'm going to.
So that was Nick's favorite food by far. I don't think until he was 10 years old he ate anything else.
Oh, my gosh.
We were really worried about him for a while. But that's all he would eat. So in honor of that, we're activating macaroni and cheese in the building. I think you'll see what's not to like T-shirts at every seat. That's part of it. There's going to be some videos in between and the timeouts. And then at halftime will be something very special that you're going to see. I'm supposed to keep a lid on it, they told me.
Okay. Well, we won't ruin the surprise here on Cavaliers Live. Dan, Nick had so many ideas, so many ventures that he was working on, and one of them that was something that he really looked forward to bringing to life was a sports bar in Detroit. He wanted a place where people could hang out, eat good food, and catch a game, and that is where the idea of Gillies came to life. It is now opening this spring in Detroit. We've got the Gillies pop-ups here with the mac and cheese in the building tonight. What has seeing this project that he envisioned come to life meant to you?
Well, he was working on this till the day he passed away, and so we picked up the ball and we kept running with it, and he wanted a sports bar in Detroit. There's a lot more sports bars in Cleveland than Detroit, so we needed one in Detroit. And luckily enough, he hooked up with a guy here from Cleveland that you may know of, a gentleman named Josh Lang, who runs a few restaurants here in Cleveland, does a great job, and Nick and him befriended each other, and Josh is now running this, or his team is running it in Detroit. So we couldn't have gotten a better guy. So this is one of these Cleveland-Detroit mashups, or as like they say, this generation, collabs.
There we go.
Probably your generation, right?
So we're going to bring the collab to Cleveland, though, right? That's the next goal, is to bring a Gillies here to Cleveland.
Yeah, that would be the second one for sure.
Okay, we love that.
Hopefully we can do it.
Well, Dan, now that we have you on set, how can we not talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, the #2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and what's not to like about that? This team has been so fun all year long, so many wins, especially here in this building. The atmosphere is always incredible. What are you enjoying most about this team right now, and how are you feeling as they head into the final stretch of the regular season?
Well, as an owner, I feel like this is the most exciting year we've had, and we've been here 15 or 16 years now. It's a team effort, and it seems, as you can see here, these guys love each other. They especially love each other when one of them hits a 60-foot shot. But they play as a team, and they impress this coaching staff, and the coaching staff has done a really good job, I think, this year, especially when there's injuries, and we had a lot of them. So we're hoping we get a big one here tonight against the Knicks. Those are the only Knicks, nobody named Nick in the building we're not going to like is the other team tonight.
I love that. That is so great, Dan. Yeah, this team is looking for a big win against the Knicks here tonight. Third and final meeting on the season. Dan, before we let you go, I just want to leave with a quote that Nick once said. He said, "I did not choose to live with NF, but I can choose how I live. And I choose to live life by enjoying every moment and to always look at the bright side of everything." He was such an incredibly strong young man, and you and your family have done an amazing job of keeping his legacy alive through nights like this, Bow Tie Night, through the Cayleigh Project, and of course through NF Forward. What do you think is the true potential of Nick's lasting legacy?
I'm sorry?
What do you think is the true potential of his lasting legacy?
His true potential
Of his lasting legacy. What do you want?
I think that what we've learned from him is that you never want to have a bad day. I mean, this kid was fighting his whole life, and he really never had a bad day. I mean, even a bad day was a good day. And that was because of his outlook on life. So when we complain about our aches and pains, you almost feel bad. And he taught us so much, and I think he can still teach us that much. The more people see his message and see who he was, it'll give them motivation to enjoy every moment of life. Because, you know, the truth is we never know how long you're going to be here. But you do know you're in the present moment. You should enjoy that. So that's the kind of person he was, and his friends would all tell you the same thing. A bunch of them are going to be here tonight yelling for the Cavs. So
that's awesome. Dan, thank you as always for taking the time.
Of course.
A special night here in the building, Bow Tie Night presented by the Cayleigh Project. Third time's a charm we hear, so if you want to come back anytime, you are always welcome.
I will, as long as you're here, I'll come back.
I'll be here. We'll be waiting. The seat's ready, the microphone's ready.
Yep.
Anytime, Dan. We appreciate it.